Hi, this is Charlene Burke with Grow Because You Know. That's www.growbecauseyouknow.com. Welcome to Morning Mindset Cafe, where this morning we are discussing why you should write yourself a letter. More importantly, we're going to talk a little bit about what should be in that letter. This is coming from the book, Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude. I have a hard copy here, written by Napoleon Hill and W. Clement Stone in 1960. My particular copy is from 1969, and those in the live stream with us have access to a PDF to download should they choose. Good morning, Catherine. So where we are now, we are at the end of chapter 8. This is the last page of chapter 8 if you have a book of your own. And this entire chapter has been about the secret of getting things done. We've discussed the self-starter, do it now, and had a gentleman on yesterday at the end of the program after the recording stopped that shared with us that many, many years ago, he had learned this self-starter himself, although he hadn't described it as such. He simply said that he says something similar to himself and it immediately puts him into action. He learned years ago that when he said it to himself, it is to be followed by action. And he did it enough, practiced it enough, that now it's just a matter of when he says it, boom, things get done. There's no second thought. There is no hesitation. There is no further investigation. And I believe that part of the reason he's able to do that when it comes to opportunities, when it comes to new ideas, when it comes to participating in something, is because years of practice, he's able to make decisions quickly. So if an opportunity is presented to him and he looks through it and says, do it now to himself, boom, that's it. No more discussion has to happen, no more research. If a good idea hits him and he says, do it now, that's it. And it doesn't matter if it's a physical workout at the gym or if it's something to do with his family or something to do with his business or multitude of businesses that he is involved in. So there was living proof yesterday that somebody could say, without having been involved in our discussions, just out of the blue comes in and says, yeah, that's what I do. So we've been talking about that self-starter, not a self-motivator, it's a starter. Motivation's an emotion. What we're talking about is actually, motivation is turning the engine on. What we're talking about is actually getting things rolling. So we've talked about the do it now. We've talked about how you can mix business and pleasure. And we took it one step further actually yesterday when we talked about in today's world, it's very easy to do with access to the internet. You can do business online while you are doing your hobby. You can still take your hobby to the people that you want to sell to, and by affinity, which is you both enjoy doing the same things, you can begin discussing your businesses. The most obvious example of that is when we play golf. And I say we because I'm a member of the Executive Women's Golf Association, and we discuss business in between improving our swing so that Charlene doesn't have to hit the ball 8 times on a par 4. Yeah. But we have fun. We have fun. Do it at a bowling alley. Doesn't matter, does it? If you're doing what you enjoy, by affinity, you are with people who enjoy talking and doing the same things, you can talk business. So we have that. Talked about a mastermind, how the importance of a mastermind to take an idea and grow it into a reality. Take a dream and make it real. Bringing in people that get it, that can help you to do what you want to do. So this all brings us then to the end of the book. And the end of the book, actually, the header is write yourself a letter. So here's an idea that's going to help you get started on the do it now portion. Oh, it can help you. Do it now can help you do the things you should do, but don't feel like doing. It's great for self-discipline. It can keep you from procrastinating when an unpleasant duty faces you. It can also help you as it did Manly Sweezy. That's the one who found his customers out in a remote area, and he could do what he loved to do while selling to his customers, which was be out in the wilderness and hunting and getting muddy and dirty and having fun. It helps you seize those precious moments, which, if lost, may never be retrieved. The endearing word to a friend, telephone call to an associate, all in response to the self-starter, do it now. So write yourself a letter. Here's an idea to help get started, which is sit down, write yourself a letter, telling the things you always intended to do as if they'd already been accomplished. Some personal, some charitable, others might be community projects. Write the letter as if a biographer were writing about the wonderful person you really are when you come under the influence of positive mental attitude. But don't stop there. Use the secret of getting things done. Respond to the self-starter. Do it now. Remember, regardless of what you have been or what you are, you can be what you want to be if you act with positive mental attitude. So what do you think of that? Write yourself a letter. Sit down and write out all the things that are on your mind, and as if they've already been done. Yes, I called my friend and let her know how much I appreciated her input on something. I contacted a family member to let them know that I was just thinking about them. I contacted I made the sales calls that I've been putting off, right? Cindy, you can take it that far if you like. I'm looking at it as a smaller version of writing the eulogy you want to have read at your funeral, because the eulogy idea is to outline all the accomplishments I have had to this point. And that's great. This goes a smidgen deeper, though, because we're tackling procrastination, right? We are tackling self-discipline. And rather than sit down and make a list of all the things we haven't done in the form of, I need to do this, we write ourselves a letter and say as if we have done it, and it's those things that niggling at the brain now, right? Things we've been procrastinating about, and putting it in the form of having done it. And once we've got that letter, got the list, then we simply say, do it now, and start doing it. So it does include assisting with the building of a Habitat Humanity house, donating time to sit with somebody at an assisted living facility, volunteering services in some capacity to teach a skill in a homeless shelter. It's all the things that you've been thinking about doing and just put off. And it includes the unpleasant things: cleaning out the garage, the attic, the room next door. It's a self-assessment, I think, but not quite. I think it's more geared towards the idea that now is the time to act. That's really what it's about. Now is the time to be happy. Now is the time to get things done. Remove the assumption that you're going to be here tomorrow, because you are assuming and you don't know for sure. I know that. I've experienced that, where I've awakened with the moment that says I shouldn't be here, according to the docs. I should not be here, and the experience I just had tells us how quickly we can be removed from this earth, how quickly we can go from 6 feet above to 6 feet under in less than a moment. We don't have forever. We just don't, but we have right now. And oh, the things we can get done right now. Now. All right, so just so you know, my handy dandy. This is not quite a letter, but it's really close. I'm going to show you. I did it. You know, now I got to find it because I did it. Wait a minute. I did it. Part of it this morning. Here we go. There we go. Okay. That is my list that has been on the back of my mind. And when I, because of timing, I'm not able, I was not going to call somebody at 5 o'clock this morning. Not going to do it. Time to think of other people now that I've gotten myself taken care of. But I have people on there I need to call, and I will. And there's a combination of, I literally want to call somebody and just verbally, not text, not email, but verbally say thank you. Because what they've done for me recently has been big, and it deserves a verbal recognition. And they don't think of it as big. I know they don't, but it was for me, and they need to know that. So I'm going to do that. The other one on my list is a potential customer. Well, it's a follow-up to seal the deal and move forward. So one's really nice. One's going to feel really good. I know automatically I'm going to feel really good because I'm giving good, right? And the other one I'm hesitant about because it involves asking for money, and I always hesitate. And I know that I can get it done when it's a matter of I look at it and remove what I think, feel, and believe about it and just do it, because I know the process. So I put it on the list. Again, it's to help me keep disciplined. And Walter says he volunteered at an old age home, and Christmas volunteers at homeless shelters. So what is it that you're procrastinating about? And I see no reason why not to add in that letter to yourself the things that you've currently done. Like Walter is pointing out that every year he's at an old age home, and every year he volunteers at a homeless shelter. Why not add in a little bit of what you've already done for sure, in addition to that which you're procrastinating about? The idea, again, is let's get it out of our head, put it on paper, and then use that self-motivator and do it. Because that is the secret to getting things done. It's all in the action. Anybody want to jump in and join the discussion? Comment to the side. The good, the bad, the ugly. What kind of things do you procrastinate about? Just the kind of things. I can tell you that my bookkeeper tax person is a great enabler and willingly files extensions for me because I put off taxes. And yet I know when I do them, I feel relieved and they're done. I know where it comes from. For over 10 years, we wrote a check to the IRS. Wrote a check. And we didn't own a business, and we didn't make a lot of money. But we also lived in a home that was well below what everybody said we should live in, what we could afford. So we didn't have write-offs there. We drove vehicles that were paid for, so we didn't have write-offs there. We didn't have write-offs. Yeah. but we wrote a check for over 10 years. And I would get so stressed out and so angry that I know I'll take care of it, meaning I have to take a look at that and let go of it. Right now, I've got a bookkeeper, tax person willing to enable me. Cindy's sharing it. She reminds her of an accident, a car accident she was in and walked away from. When the police showed up, they expected to pull out a body, and instead they had to make me sit down because I was walking around in disbelief that it was the second accident in 3 days. You're right. It needs to be brought to mind again, and not in a morbid day. What needs to be brought to mind is there is no guarantee of tomorrow. And we all make the assumption, we all do, the assumption I'm going to wake up in the morning, so I'm going to put it off till tomorrow. Because I've been able to put it off to this point, right? So there's proof that I'm going to be able to put it off today. I mean, that's logic and reason, right? It's always been this way, so it always will be this way. No, it won't. No, it won't. And that's not morbidity. That's not to bring you down. That is simply to remind you that you have a limited time on this earth. And in that limited time, it's up to you what you want to do with it. If you want to keep putting things off that you'd rather be doing or getting done, I don't know why you're joining us this morning, honestly. Because those that I know that are here this morning aren't about that. What we're about is help me to figure out how I can get the things done that I really want to do now, so that I can have an impact on somebody, on something. For me, I'd love to leave my mark on the world. Not quite sure what that looks like. I have a feeling that, you know, even if I were to define what the mark was I wanted to leave, it's really not up to me to decide that I left a mark on the world. It's what other people have to say, isn't it? I also don't like regrets. And so far, so good. Very, very few regrets to this point. And we're waiting for Betsy to come in. Betsy's on the road, by the way, with the bumblebee.
Is it going to work? Yeah.
Oh, we're going to find out. Hey, Betsy, good to see you. Where are you calling in from?
Bellingham, Massachusetts.
Bellingham, Massachusetts. Oh, it's beautiful out there, isn't it?
Pretty. You can see I don't have the boxes behind me.
Yeah.
But I have a ton of them with me.
Good. Good.
Yeah. Yeah, so procrastination, you know, it's interesting because I've been talking to a couple friends, like long time friends, childhood friends, and they're not happy.
Are you seeing it? Oh, nuts. Not a strong enough connection.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll have to pull up the computer.
Okay.
Well, should I go on audio only?
Try it.
How do I do that?
Oh, please. I have no idea. I really don't. Anybody here know how to go on audio only?
Well, you just went on it because of maybe my connection. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because usually I don't know that you can determine audio only unless it's in your settings for your camera, and just turn your camera off.
Oh.
And that would be in your browser.
Okay, yeah, I'm on my tablet, so that makes it hard. But if you want me to hang up, is it too wonky?
Not right now. You're actually pretty smooth right now.
Oh, okay, okay. So I was just gonna say, you know, I've had conversations with my friends, like, because they're all saying, like, wow, look at you, you know, you're doing your dream and your vision, and you're, you know, it's so cool, and it's, you know, and I say, well, you can do it too. You know, what do you want? And, you know, they're in jobs that, you know, maybe they like okay, but like one of them's commuting 2 hours a day, and So I just keep going back. It's all up here.
Are they
Like
able to tell
like,
you what it is they want to do?
well, that's the thing. That is the thing. I don't know. Because I said, like, you don't have to answer, but what do you want? Like, what do you want?
I don't
What
know. I just know
will
this is
float
what I
your
don't
boat?
want.
Yeah, and I think that, like you say before, like 98% of the people are walking around that way,
Yeah.
right? And so then, of course, like one of my friends is like, well, you're a risk taker. Well, yeah, I am, but like this trip is a total, risk, but it's fun, and if I didn't do it, I wouldn't know, and but as far as procrastinating, I mean, for myself, procrastinating, um, I would say it would be in organizing my
Mm.
files and systems. Like I'll go on the computer and try to find like a document, and sometimes I'm using the F word a lot. Like where is it? Like I should know where that is, you know, that
Hmm.
kind of stuff. And it's same with like cleaning my house. It's not a filthy mess, but it's just like
Yep.
last on the list. But then it'll creep up and bother me.
And that's where the self starter comes in, the do it now. When the minute it starts to
Yeah.
bother you,
Yeah.
if you could get into the mode of saying, do it now, turn around, boom, get it done, and walk away, it'll prevent it
Right.
from festering, right?
Yeah. 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 And that's what I do. I mean, I will do it when it bothers me, but not my systems and files. I like they really need to be organized, to help me to not waste time. But I'm so, I don't know, just busy with all the major activities
Right.
that I got to do. It's
Well,
kind
and
of
some
like,
things get put to the side on purpose. And that's what we're learning here is that, you know, I am not, first off, I think guilt belongs where it belongs, which is I've done something wrong, therefore I'm going to feel guilty. So put that out there right
yeah,
now. When I decide I just don't want to do that, it's amazing how freeing that is. And what I'm thinking of is cleaning house.
yeah,
She is not a domestic goddess. Trust me. I don't clean house. I don't.
yeah.
I don't.
No, I don't,
I have a
I
service that comes in.
yeah,
And it doesn't, and it's not
oh,
every week
yeah,
and it's not every day. It's about once a month, sometimes every 2 months. And it's wonderful
yeah,
because we don't do much in
yeah.
the
I get to
house,
do that.
but enough, right? That I'm not going
Yeah,
to
well,
deal with it. No, I made the decision. That's it. It's beautiful.
right, right. And that is
Well, it
liberating.
is. I mean,
Do I want to do
really,
it?
is
Do I
this
want to
something
find?
I'm going to have regrets over on my deathbed? If my deathbed is tonight or tomorrow, am I going to, is that, oh, I didn't clean the house. No, trust me, that's not. No.
Right. That's not. No, I think it's leaving the legacy is. I've actually done an activity, similar with like,
Mm-hmm.
what would you write, like if you were
Right.
gone, you know, and yeah, like I feel like I'm leaving my legacy.
Good.
I mean, I've had two events on the road so far, and I haven't had anybody show up. Well, one person, like
Okay.
the organizer, and and so instead of going to beat up mode, I'm saying, all
Hey,
right, you know what? Make a
here's the
connection.
deal. Here, instead of going beat up mode, figure out, so how were you letting people know where you were going to be? What's the purpose for them to come?
Yeah,
What's the benefit to them? I,
yeah.
that's key.
Well,
What's the
yeah,
benefit?
yeah,
It's a game night. We're going to have a good time.
right.
We're going to get to know new people. Turn it into a networking event. You're a traveling networking event. Um, I'm
Yeah,
already
that,
thinking,
yeah,
why don't you contact the physician offices, OBGYNs, right?
yeah. Well, when I'm planted somewhere for a couple days, I'm looking into, making some connections, and that's how I'm seeing it. I mean, I am going to sell games because I know I have events where they're really jazzed and local people are promoting. So I'm saying, okay, these two are like tack on to visit family, kinda
Okay.
the first two. So I'm just trying to shift it to like, okay, what was my, what was the intention? And but yeah, it's easy to go to beat up or not, and what's and again, what did I not do or procrastinate on maybe with the promoting part.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you have promotional things that need to be done over the next day or two, that's where a self-starter like this comes in play. We may put it off because it feels weird, it's new, we're not sure how it's going to be received, what it looks like, you know, that uncertainty is oftentimes what causes us to go into procrastination mode. But if we have that self-starter,
Yeah.
which we've taught ourselves, if we say do it now and immediately follow it by action, then every time we say do it now, we get into action mode. We just had a fella on yesterday that came on after the recording. I hadn't seen him in months. He's doing great. I added a couple of businesses to his agenda. So he's quite busy, quite successful. And he said, yeah, he taught himself years ago, not that he's old now, he's in his 30s, but when he was a teen, he had taught himself that when he says that phrase, it's action time. So it's now, there's no hesitation. When he says it to himself, that's it. It's a done deal. There's no putting it off. So it's and he gets a lot done and accomplishes a lot and makes tons of money too. So
yeah, there you go. See, that's I know that's always the missing link for me, but it's gonna come. It's funny. I have this calendar. Today's calendar said, you know, money comes easily or something. I don't have to work, you know, hard for it.
okay,
Something like that.
yeah,
Like,
you believe that, don't you?
It's perfect for today. I know. I get to really
I
shift
don't understand those things. Those don't make sense to me because sometimes the hard work is just simply overcoming my own anxieties about whatever it is that I'm tackling, right? The procrastination, why am I putting it off, right?
Right. Like what's bothering me? Like, why am I not doing it? Like that's what you were saying earlier. Like, why am I not doing it? Like with house cleaning, I don't like to, I do not like to do it. It doesn't bring me joy. I try to have that happen when I'm cleaning. And it just,
yeah, I don't even
but,
really,
you know,
it's not even a job well done kind of feeling. It's like, well, that needed to be done. Can I move to something else now?
Yeah, like, like I don't move every knickknack to death. Well, my husband will do that. You know, so he's meticulous. So he cleans, it's awesome. That's his thing. But I think also it goes back to what are my strengths, like in business, and where do I need to, you know,
and when
find
you know that,
smarter.
you know, even if the do it now is call somebody and have them come do it.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know?
No, this will be a huge learning curve, and I'll have, you know, some ideas for the future. But yeah, it's like why wait? And I don't think it's morbid when you talk about that. Like life, you know, life is now. Wait, I mean, this is awful, but I mean, there was a story uh, uh, on the news. Like I heard it on the radio, and this woman went to the beach with her family, I guess, and there was a flying umbrella, you know, in the wind, and
And they
I mean,
happen to meet.
gone. And they happened to meet,
Yeah.
and her life was over. And you know, again, that's just like you don't think like I'm gonna go to the beach, so you have to do what you like. You want to enjoy while you're here, and if it's leaving a legacy, you know, what am I doing? Like, I feel like my mission's bigger than me. You know, I want to make money, but it's not about the money. That's what I'm up to, and my vision and
Well, I can tell you,
intention.
everybody here, I've played a little bit of the game. It's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, that's right. You got to play it, and I'm
No,
not
I know
trying to
you're
plug
not,
the
but
game
I'm
or
thinking to
anything, but
myself, this is a fun game. And I'm hoping that you're marketing it
yeah,
as just a fun time, that we are here to have a
yeah,
good time. They'll figure out they're
yeah,
learning something along the way. But we got into giggle fits and, you know, it was funny. A
yeah.
childless person here knew all the answers.
I know you did. It's so cool. But yeah, it is called the fun factor. My little, you know, my little presentation is called the fun factor. So
Yeah.
that is my goal. You know, fun and connection, and so it's all good. But yeah, putting stuff off is, you know, is easy to do, and it doesn't always like serve me well. You know, depending what I feel like I'm. Well, you know,
Mm-hmm.
when you have a goal and you've got the action steps that you got to take, and of course there's a priority order, but there's always going to be one or two, you know, that's like, oh,
Those are the ones we're
at least
talking
for me.
about.
like creating my video. I
Mm-hmm.
created a video, and it was like 6 tries later, and this backdrop and that light, and did it come out perfect? No, but I just did it anyway for the customer, and it's
Wonderful. That's good for you.
visible.
Yes. Well, those are the steps we take and we realize, hey, that didn't kill me. And it didn't kill the business.
Right. Yeah, like you're not gonna. It's perfection. Is there perfection really? Does it exist
Absolutely.
in our mind?
Oh, I know
You
it
think
does. I am
it
perfectly
really
me
does?
at any given moment. I learned that years
Well,
ago
yeah,
because I was hung up on everything's, because I would say everything's got to be just right. Well, according to who? According to me. Because, see, I would
yeah,
say, well, according to
yeah,
you. Well, how do I know what you think is just right? You know? So then I learned, well, it really is according to me. So where did I get this set of standards? Well, I got it
yeah.
from
That's
my belief at the time that my God has a set of standards for me to live up to. I finally realized that. And when I realized that is when I said, not I said, it was told to me by an awesome priest who sat with me through this and says, so God thinks you're perfect no matter what you do, as long as you worship him and you are who you are. Not trying to be anybody else. Be who you are, because that's the gift that God gave us. And that helped me to change my thinking. I am perfectly me. So there is called perfect. Because what'll happen is that the minute I put something out and I see what are flaws, somebody else sees either different flaws or doesn't look or thinks that the flaws are artistic elements. Right? So again, according to whose
yeah.
standard, right? So anyway, just yeah,
They
that elusive they,
they
yeah. So that's just my thinking and the way
was
I've processed. I am perfect. I'm perfectly me. Right now, as I sit here, I am perfectly Charlene Burke. There is no other like me. There is no other like Betsy Schwartz. None other like Betsy Schwartz, Betsy Dula, who is perfectly Betsy Schwartz. Nobody else can match or
perfect,
mirror Betsy Schwartz. Can't do it because you are perfectly you.
and
Mm-hmm.
on the same note, you know how
Mm-hmm.
my brain works. Um, while that's while I believe that that's true, we're all perfect, whole, and complete, and we are
Mm-hmm.
uniquely us. You know, we also, can mirror each other, and
And we can become more and
you know,
become better. That's why I call it getting better and growing rather than fixing flaws and um,
mm,
repairing breaks. And I believe that's why it's called self-development and personal development. It's getting better, it's growing, it's becoming more than who I am right now, which does not mean that right now I'm not enough. Right now I'm not perfect. I am. There's more available,
yes,
so I'm
you
moving
are.
forward. It's just
Yes, and you're not procrastinating
no,
on your goals.
no, I'm not. Um, they're the
Bumblebee,
bumblebee. Love it.
there is a break. Well, my husband fixed the water. There was the pipes too, they were leaking. He had to fix those. Now he's
Oh,
fixing
yeah, that's what
something else.
happens with campers. Yep, travel
So
trailers.
funny.
Love them though.
Uh, no
Oh no,
procrastinating on that.
no, you can't. They'll warp so quickly. You'll no, that must be done right away. Well, see, and that can happen, right? I mean, sometimes do we really want to wait for things to become an emergency before they get our attention?
Right.
Who wants? I don't want to live under that kind of stress. I do not
No.
excel with continual adrenaline rushes. That is not my state of being. That's ideal for me. I don't get things done there. Well, I can't say that. Get done. But afterwards, it's like, would have liked to have spent a little more time on it. Yeah, well, it's your own fault.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
like,
if you hadn't waited quite as
well,
long,
and
you know. Now, having said that, the way I work is similar to the way Cindy works. Cindy has talked about how she feels like she waits to the last minute and really loves the adrenaline rush. And I don't wait to the last minute, and I think Cindy's similar to this. What I'm actually working on things in my mind. What I don't do is, and this has bothered people that I worked with, right, in offices and corporate, if you will, is they're not seeing me work it out on paper. It's up in my head. I mean, I'm writing a letter now to somebody up in my head. It's back here. It's being written back here. And so when I do sit down, it may seem like last minute because it's the day before due date or due date, but it's a dump. And then it's the final draft, which requires minor editing, and it's not. I've done that with presentations. I'm doing it now also with a series of courses. I'm breaking down my social selling courses, and I'm about ready to really flesh out an outline. Because right now it's just an outline mode. But what I'm doing is I'm breaking it down into 2-minute videos for either Skillshare or Udemy, and do it that way, which will enable me to really refine exactly what a student needs. So I can take that to an online course of my own and then offer a workshop. But all that's happening in my head up here. So to me, that's not procrastination.
No, but it's not, because you're working on it and you're doing it. Well, for me, I have to like write it down or something because my head will get so bogged. How do you work that way? Wow.
I can't
Being
explain.
up
Who can
there and
explain the
at
how?
least
Come on. No.
they know how the brain works. But I think, well, I'd be like, oh, like I gotta like at least like write down like some of it, or get it
Yeah.
out of here.
It depends on what I'm working on. To be honest with you, I have a list of things that need to get done. I'm talking about, so I get with a collaborator on a project, and this happened. We were going to do live workshops, and they wanted to meet like 6 times before. And I'm just sitting there during the meeting. I don't work with you online. That doesn't work for me. And they're annoyed because they actually want to write everything out. And I said, there's nothing to write out yet. I don't have anything to offer yet. I haven't thought it through. I haven't visualized it. I haven't, we know the outcomes. That was the beginning point. So now it's a matter of my ruminating and yeah.
But you're not procrastinating.
No, because what happens is we came together and she saw that it all came out and it needed minor editing. I had told her this before. I said, I just can't work this way. A good example is 16 to Success. We have team meetings. Team meetings is not where real work gets done. They've learned that. They've tried that with me. I said, you can talk all you want, but no. Because what you're doing is you're shutting down my processing and I'm just watching you. Fine, I'll watch you. Not inspired or anything. Well, Charlene, can't you write? No. Nope. This is not how I work. So, and they've learned that. So our team meetings are very productive because what their focus is now. I go away and a day or two later, got a whole series of autoresponder emails are done. Because I've been thinking on them for the last week or two. They're done. Just need your final review to make sure it makes sense. Okay. Outline or script for one of the principles. It's done.
Well, it's interesting. You're talking about teams. So even like for me, like with organizations and procrastination, I think what happens is if you're working on a team or a group project, whatever it is, whether it's your thing or like with me, I'm thinking of the organization that I'm a volunteer, I'm on the board. And I guess it's not so much procrastination, but kind of like the energy is different when you meet as a team and all the ideas and da da da, and who's supposed to do what. Then you go off on your little island again, or for me, and then I feel like, you know, it's, you know, the energy's missing, but you know, so I get to act on what I like. This is my
Right.
homework, and I get to do, you know, X, Y, Z to make the project happen. But there's a different energy when you're, you know, with people
There is, but the same thing still
brainstorming.
happens, right? So am I procrastinating, or
It,
it's up to me to determine that. Now, if I'm working within the team
yeah.
and they think I'm procrastinating, it's also up to me to explain what's really happening here. And this is how I work. If you can't work with that, you're going to have to let me
Mm,
know. There was a time that I would never say that and just try to fit myself in somebody else's box. There's a reason I'm the business owner now, right? But what we've learned today and what we've been talking about over this whole chapter about procrastination can apply in a team setting. It can apply in your own projects. It can apply in your personal life. The whole idea is about you getting control over procrastination and learning the
mm,
secret to getting things done. It is you being able to wake up this morning and say, yesterday was a great day. I got a lot done. And be looking forward to today because you know what it takes for you to get something done. So it's a self-discipline that's lacking in a lot of us,
yeah.
and it's identified as procrastination. There's other self-discipline issues, of course, but getting to the point where, hey, you know, give it to Charlene because you know it'll get done. Yeah,
Coming.
and yes, that happens. That
Coming.
happens. Somebody, Charlene, I
Do it.
want you involved because I know it's done. Yeah, well, not on this one.
Yeah. That, well, that's when it's like, okay, I'm gonna get it done, and I know it's not gonna be me, and who am I going to
There.
get?
And then, yes,
So
exactly. So if that's what
quick.
it looks like, fine. If it's time to outsource, if it's time to delegate, if it's time to bring others in, the idea is that you've
Yeah.
got the idea and you know it's good. It needs to happen, and you just look teach
Yeah.
yourself that when you say that self starter, follow it immediately by action, so that you can trust yourself when you say the words. Because if you don't, right, if you tell yourself to do something and you don't do it, then you've let yourself down and you get into that embroiled crap, you know, that can turn into a cesspool if you're not careful.
Yeah. That's really, yeah, that's not a good place
Yeah,
to be. I
personal
know.
sewer
I
systems
know.
are not where I want to live. So,
Yeah, I like that. No, it's good though, because you can get into it and out of it. I mean, just as easily. But sometimes when you get into it,
it
you can't
is.
get out of it. I mean, you know, if you let yourself go there. But yeah, that's interesting because you know, I have an idea, you know, with my business that's been brewing and stewing and people talking about it, and then I'm saying, okay, so like, how do I get
Mm-hmm.
started? Like, how can I do this? Because I know it can be done, and yeah, it's on the list. And you know, like, what am I waiting for? You know, I don't know.
Well, if you don't know the
You
actions
know,
to take, right? How can you take action on something you don't know what to take? But if the question is, you know, how can I do this? Which indicates that you don't know how to get it done. Now it's time to start putting it out to people who might know and listen to them.
yeah,
All
that's
right. So
right.
I've got a big deal planned for next year. Big deal. Big for me. Big. Knew it was a great idea. Had stewed on it for about, I mean, for real, maybe a week before I went to Tampa or to Florida. Um, for reals, about a week, and not even stewed, but it had grown a bit. The idea had been planted in my mind earlier this year, April, something like that. I just guessing. It was just an idea, and it hadn't fully formed, but it stayed because I knew it was good. Just wasn't quite sure what it was going to look like. So let it stew, let it grow. So by the time I get to Florida, it's gelled enough that I could throw it out to a couple of people. And it wasn't to test the idea because I knew it was good. It was just to hear if they could add to it. And they could. They got excited. this and that, and this and that. And I'm, they had it all completely different than what it's ending up being. But it was great because it did get me thinking a little bit more on it. So when I got back to the office, now a week down in Florida, back to the office on Friday, like at 1 o'clock in the morning. Slept in until 5 on Saturday, and by Monday, I pretty much had a full outline.
Wow.
Okay,
I know what it is.
I know you know what it is. So then it got expanded, and now it's all right. So if this is going to happen a year out, and it will happen a year out, now is the time that things need to be moving to locate the presenter that I want there. I don't even know who it's going to be yet. Well, now is the time to identify who's available, because we're talking a year out, right? And now is the time to interview them, talk to them, see them in action, see their stuff, whatever, see if this is a good fit for what the outcomes I want out of this. And then to find out who's available, what the cost is to bring them on board, what's the venue, what are the opportunities for the venues. I've got it down to 2 that now, and it's on there. One of the things I'm going to be doing is need to, what? Yes, it's near you. It's driving distance. But contact them. See, get things into motion. Have to. There's no putting off on this. I mean, I could try to put it off until January or February and hope like hell that people will come to something in April. Really? No. It's not how it works.
Yeah, you can't do that. Want it to happen.
Well, this is the kind of event that would require me to actually rent the entire venue. So if there's an inn, right, an inn or a bed and breakfast involved, it's going to involve taking over the entire location. But that's how it happens, So if I were still practicing the I'm not good enough, or I can't think that far ahead, if I were still in survival mode last year, I wouldn't have made it this far. I wouldn't have outlined anything. Would not have done it, because my limiting thinking would have said, first off, no way they're going to come to my event. They don't know me. All right, so today I think, well, they don't need to know me. They just need to know who's going to be there. It's not about me anyway. It's about what they're going to get. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm learning with marketing. That's the key.
So,
whether
that do it now thing, though, is what I'm exempling here, is showing you that because of the do it now, I pretty much have a fully fleshed out program, enough that I can speak with presenters to bring in. I know what the outcomes are, and I know what what I want attendees to feel the last day. In addition to that, because I've done this, I'm now planning a second event that's a little more local. It's regional and a smaller version of this. So why not repurpose the content elsewhere? Yeah, but again, it's a matter of, you've got the idea. I knew it was good. I also knew that it needed to be fleshed out a little bit, and I wasn't ready to do that. But that doesn't mean that's purposeful. I made the decision to not jump in and just start working on everything. It was like, it's got to sit there for a minute. And it did, about a week. And then within, 2 weeks, I'm already making connections. I've got appointments to talk to a handful of people over the next couple of weeks to see who they are, what they offer. I like what they look like online, but I want to know who they are to see if they're fit with what I have planned. And
good. Yeah. Hey, an idea has to, germinate and, take
sometimes, and this one did. This one did, but there's others that, well, I shouldn't even say that. It got to a point now where it was, I didn't say do it now. It was just the natural progression of germinate and then move it forward. Because I knew it was good. It's going to happen. But it's not up to me right now to have every single detail. That doesn't have to happen today. Portions of it over the next week or two are going to happen so that it can begin to really flesh out. And once that's, so there's steps to this. I've done live events before, right? So just so y'all know, when I did I hosted a small business conference in Indianapolis. It was very well attended, planned it out 6 months in advance, and got on it pretty quick because I only had 6 months to get the word out and get somebody on board as a draw and what have you, and did it. Now it's in 2012, middle of the recession, and got them to show up. So I'm confident in that part. So I know the process.
Well, and that's just it too, knowing, which steps to take first and which ones you
Right.
can, literally put off because, okay, this doesn't have to happen today. These are the important things that have to happen today to make the whole thing happen.
Yeah.
And then the other things, can follow, or you can make a schedule or whatever it is,
Right.
right? Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that applies to any idea you have. And it applies. Now let's
Oh,
bring it
yeah.
down smaller. Let's bring it back to what this letter should be about. Because this letter is about cleaning things up to this point so that you can move forward with a clean slate for today. So what's been on your mind? Who is it you haven't called yet to say hello, to touch base with? Who is it that you haven't thanked yet? You've put it off because you figure you might see them next week and then forget about it. Put that in a letter to yourself. And it's recommending in the book that you write it as if you've already done it. I really don't care. The book says to do it that way. The idea is you're going to get it out of your head onto paper and do it because you're going to follow it with action. So if you've been putting off something, whatever it may be, put it down on that paper and then say to yourself, do it now and get into action. There's your day. And it can be personal. It can be community things. If you've been wanting to find a place to volunteer some services, one of the things that I want to do, and it's on my list, is I have skills that I can teach. I can teach life skills. I can teach business skills. And there are a handful of places in town that could use somebody like me. I just don't know which ones and how that works. So make some phone calls, shoot out some emails. There's a gal that I said before I went to Florida, she's on the list, that I would shoot an email to her and let's get together for lunch. That's going to happen today. So, to clean up those things so that I feel as if, hey, I'm putting this to practice. I'm doing it now. I'm not putting off anymore. That's the point.
How often does he say to do the letter?
I would think as often as needed. It's cleanup time.
Yeah, like we just saw, like, oh, I didn't do
Well,
this.
that's just it. If things are accumulating in the head of that nudge that says you're not doing something you really need to know, and it really needs to be done because you've become a procrastinator. We're trying to defeat procrastination. We're trying to get things done. And the secret to getting things done, we're procrastinate. So you replace that with a self-starter. You replace that with, not the motivator. It is the starter. It's that which puts you into action. And if it's
sometimes it's
fire
under the butt.
Yeah, or as Nathan likes to say, a foot in the ass.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
I like the fire. I smell a fire now. Somebody's got a fire.
Well, you know what burns my butt? Flame 3 feet high.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, subtlety doesn't always work with me. Trust me. I've been called clueless. I mean, really, because oftentimes people don't speak the same language that I speak. What was your first clue? Oh, Nathan. Yeah. I appreciate your non-subtlety. Trust me.
Yeah, listen, everybody has a different style of
They do.
telling you
well,
what you should be doing.
Oh, I
or
wanted to
you know
welcome
what you're not
Sean.
doing.
He's with LexisNexis, one of my favorite databases. Just by the way, look at his ID. Sean is a training specialist for LexisNexis out of Canada. Um, and LexisNexis is a deep dive database of business with specialties. So if you want to be in legal, if you want to be in pharma, it's a huge database. It's awesome. It's expensive, but it's awesome.
You know a lot, Charlene. You know so much.
What?
You know a lot that I don't know. Well, just it's good. You know so much about
Yeah, about some things, and then
business.
you know a heck of a lot more than I do about pregnancy and doulaing. Is that a word? Doulaing?
Yeah, it's a verb
Okay,
now. A lot of people have made it into a verb, but doula is in the
right.
dictionary actually. The word doula is in the Webster dictionary. But yeah, but that's why it's good to connect
Absolutely.
with people.
Can all learn from each other, which is why I like programs like this. When somebody comes into the live stream, I can learn from you. Oh, well, Sean's back. Hi, Sean.
Well,
Well, all right, fine. Sean needs,
there you
just so you
go.
know on the recording, Sean needs a seatbelt because I'd love
Oh,
to shout out to Sean. All right, so I'm going to close out the recording portion. We are at the top of the hour, and then we can hang out for a little while, okay? Thanks for joining me in the live stream, Betsy. And thank you to those in the chat area for participating in the chat. This is Charlene Burke with Grow Because You Know. That's www.growbecauseyouknow.com. Let's move forward with the day on purpose, with purpose, to grow our hearts, grow our minds, and grow our businesses. Until next time, have a great day.